Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another edition of Running the Bases. I'm your host, Michael Garaffa, joined by Ryan Blank. Nick Neff will be joining us in just a brief moment. He will be joining us as, he's almost like that guy. You start the show, and then he comes a little bit later to, make an entrance. So Nick will be making his entrance very soon. But Ryan and I are here for the first few minutes of this show today as we're here early in the morning. It's 8:30. We're feeling it. We made the decision to do this.
It's 10:30.
Yeah.
But
Okay, yeah.
But I also had a really late night, so I am feeling it.
Speaking of making an entrance, Nick is here making an entrance. Welcome, Nick. We're happy to have you. As I was just saying, it's early in the morning.
Nick, the beard is coming in very nice, I have to say.
Oh, thank you.
It's coming in very nicely.
I'm liking it. He's growing the hair back out. Eventually, his hair's going to be back down to his shoulders, and he's going to have, the full beard. He's going to just look wonderful. So, yeah, it's early in the morning. It's 8:30 for Nick and I, 10:30 for Ryan, which is good for him. But we made the decision to do this because, well, there's no other time that works for all of us. And Marco couldn't even be here today, of course. But we're still here. We're going to chug along for the summer. We've only got about a month left of shows before we're hopefully back in studio. We have no clue what's going on next semester, but we hope to be back in studio. We hope to be back together in person because, as everyone knows, when the four of us are together in person, we're just, we're one hell of a time. So we look forward to that for next semester. That should be
this is a kid's show. You need to really watch your language. You cannot say HE double hockey sticks like that. Yeah, I'm going to need you to turn that hat backwards as well. I don't want to get canceled by YouTube, so thank you.
Goodness. Yeah, so we're going to be HE double hockey sticks of a fun time next semester if we are in person. But yeah, so let's get rolling with today's show. It's been a fun week. We had a lot going on in the past week, and we didn't even make an outline for today because, honestly, Nick and I, after our last show last week, I even told him at the time, we had a conversation for like 5 minutes about the 2012 Cincinnati Reds and the amount of nostalgia that it brought up for both of us. Just talking about that and saying, man, thinking about that team, thinking about the players that were on that team. It was a nostalgic moment for no reason other than it just thinking of those players in that team at the time was just really, really interesting. And I said to Nick, you know what, we're going to just do a show about nostalgic moments next week. Is why the heck not? And here we are. We're going to do a show on nostalgic moments today. And it's not like we're, picking the most nostalgic moments because honestly, getting nostalgia from baseball is not very hard. It's not going to take much. We're going to probably only need one moment to set us off for 20 minutes because the point of the show is not to stay on topic. The point is to branch off into a million different things and for, 30 minutes, just talk about something and hopefully lead to a really fun discussion. So that will come in just a second, but I want to do a quick recap on the All-Star game that happened last week. We did have the All-Star game a week ago today. It was the day of our show. It was later in the evening, and it was a really fun All-Star game. I will say, though, it was fairly anticlimactic. I will say the last few All-Star games have been like that where, we hype them up a lot and then they turn out to really not be too much. I believe the final score was like 5-2, 5-2, the American League, whatever. But the storyline of the game was Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Excuse me, I'm suddenly having like an asthma attack on the show. That's great. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. had a monster home run open the scoring. Other than that, it was just a lot of fun. Can someone else do the recap for like 30 seconds, please, while I get some water?
I couldn't watch a lot of it because I had practice, so I didn't get to see most of it. But from what I saw, AL just dominates the All-Star game, man. I don't know what to tell you. Yeah, it would have been a different story if DeGrom, Woodruff, and Gosman were there and played. Probably. But the AL does not lose, baby. The AL just dominates. And I am tired of people who say that the AL is not as good as the NL. I have too many people say it. I'm just like, look at the All-Star game, buddy. You're wrong. Get out of my face now. So, AL all the way, baby.
Yeah, AL's like I think they're a dynasty now when it comes to the All-Star game. I think they've won like the past like 7 of the past 10 in like the last century. But I don't know,
They've won 8 in a row and like 28 of the past like 33.
that's actually absurd.
It's absurd. It is absurd.
However, I will say the AL is dominated, but statistically, in the regular season, the NL is just better. I mean, like pitching wise, first of all, there's no reason
the only way that the NL is
won.
actually better is just looking at the NL West. Just look at the NL West.
I wish they would go back to playing for home field advantage, though.
Yes. You know why that was taken away? Because the NL could never win it.
Yeah.
And you know what? I have people now commenting saying that the NL is better than the AL. You know, do they have some more better players? Yes. Look at the pitching that they have with DeGrom, Gausman, Woodruff, Buehler. They've got insane pitching. But I would love to see them actually beat the AL in the All-Star game and back it up. Better pitching. AL, I think, has some more stronger position players.
Absolutely. And, it makes for an interesting game because this year especially, I mean, we had so many players that opted not to play between every single Astro not showing up to DeGrom, Woodruff, and Gausman not being able to pitch. It obviously made for a very, very different All-Star game than it could have been. And I think that, who knows what would have happened if everyone was there. You can never tell, because obviously, maybe things would be different if you have Jose Altuve starting at second. Maybe he grounds into a double play somewhere where someone else didn't. Like, you never know. Like, one player. Right, exactly. Mike Trout was voted as a starter for some reason and didn't even play in the game.
It's called fan voting. It is called fan voting. If we want to look at fan voting, look at 2015 when at one point it was all Royals in the starting lineup. It is fan voting. That's where they get the starters from, and that's why Mike Trout and guys who have been injured get in as starters.
Which is a whole different conversation for another day. Just the All-Star game to me, I mean, we all love the All-Star game. It's always a great day. But to me, in the last few years, it hasn't been – I would say All-Star Week is typically the show is ran by the Home Run Derby. Like, the Home Run Derby is by far steals the show every year. And, I mean, even this year, I think the draft was more exciting than the All-Star game, even though obviously leading up to the All-Star game we're excited. But, when you look back on it, the draft was just so thrilling. And, the Home Run Derby, obviously, every year is just fantastic. So that's the All-Star Game from 2021. It was fun, as always. But as usual, the Home Run Derby did steal the show again this year. But next year, we hope to have another great one. Obviously, we were all just happy to have an All-Star Game this year after not having one last year. Good to recognize the players for their achievements. So today, we have nostalgia. We are going to be talking about things that are from any scale that make you feel nostalgic about baseball. It could be anything. You could be talking about a pitch that you saw in the 2012 ALDS that was a little bit outside and the call wasn't made. I don't know. It really, like, anything that makes you feel nostalgic. We're going to start it off with Nick, because Nick, I know you and I were the ones who had the conversation. Unless you don't want to start it off, I could start it off if you want. I'll be starting it off.
No, I can. It's cool.
Oh, okay. Yes, you can start it off today, and we're gonna branch off from whatever you say, and we're just gonna roll with it.
I'm not gonna lie. The first thing I thought of was probably Jose Bautista, in the playoff series against the Rangers. And then, like, the whole Ruhan Odor, like the fighting and the bat swing. I don't know, that to me that kind of sums up baseball from, I think, what was that? That was our freshman year in high school.
Yeah, 2015. That was the year the Mets were in the World Series.
Yeah, dude, that was such a good time.
Champs, baby.
Yes, he had to rub it in. Yeah, man, Jose Bautista. That was wow. Oh gosh,
That
Jose
swing will always be
Bautista.
talked about too. Like that, like we will tell our kids about that swing
Yes.
just because of just I don't know the sheer raw emotion that we saw from like Bautista, not only Bautista but like the entire stadium. Like that place was absolutely jumping.
Yeah, Blue Jays fans have a lot of really they got a lot of passionate fans. I mean, to me the thing that gives me goosebumps about that moment it is right now is when they would show the dugout's reaction when after Bautista made contact and everyone jumps over the upper railing of the dugout and
Everyone's
is just
into it.
screaming.
Yeah.
And then I don't remember who's walking down the third baseline. I don't remember his name, but the guy that was on third is screaming as he's walking in the home plate. Like it was one of the coolest moments just in recent baseball history, and a moment that honestly none of us are ever going to forget. I mean, you can talk about any moment. Like, I mean, to me, I remember more of the home run from Jose Bautista than I do of World Series from the past 5 years, because it was such a moment. Ryan, you could always you could just chip in whenever you want, talk about something, but I mean, for me, it's just, gosh, what a moment.
You know what I remember from that moment? Bautista's glasses going flying. Everyone knows my opinion on Jose Bautista, how I think he was juicing and how I think most of that Blue Jays team was juicing. That's a different topic for a different day.
No,
But-
you can talk about it now. This is just a
I have
discussion
no
show.
liking for Jose Bautista, and that is coming from me, who I tend to support former Royals. Screw Jose Bautista with all of my heart. I have no liking for Jose Bautista. And when Rougned Odor put his fist through his nose, I remember where I was that day. I was driving home from Minnesota because that's where my older brother went to school. And I just remember watching. I see the alert because I wasn't able to watch it. And I watch it, and I'm going crazy in the car. My mom's like, what? I'm like, Jose Bautista finally got what he deserved. And she's like, someone punched him in the face or something? I was like, exactly. And she's like, oh. I was like, yeah. I was so happy. No liking for Jose Bautista. Played the game the wrong way. You know what? Was the bat flip dope? Yes, but guess what? Never won a World Series. Get out of my face, Bautista. Take the broken nose.
You know who else never won a World Series? Okay, never mind. I was going to make a funny joke about good players that have never won a World Series and it just failed. But yeah, Jose Bautista. I love Jose Bautista. First of all, I think he's I mean that batting stance, that swing. I mean, that was one powerful swing. I mean, it was short and compact, but boy, did he just unload. I mean, I will never forget when he was on the Mets and hit a walk-off. It was a walk-off. Was it a grand slam? I don't know, but he had a walk-off home run with the Mets, and it was one of the coolest things because it was the only walk-off home run he'd ever had. A guy who had like 300 home runs in his career. None of them were for walk-offs. And then he just comes to the Mets and hits a walk-off home run into the second deck, and it was just he did the bat flip. It was really funny. I mean, that was not even just a special moment in terms of what had happened, but that to me was the beginning of the bat flip revolution. Back in 2015, bat flips were not really seen as something that were a part of baseball. They happened every once in a while, but typically if you did a bat flip, you got drilled. But ever since then, bat flips have become, a commonplace thing, which is great to me for baseball. Everyone loves bat flips. They're fun. They're exciting. They invoke passion. And, Jose Bautista really, to me, is what sparked the Fernando Tatis Jr. era of Major League Baseball. Anyone?
I feel like there was a little bit of a lull in between that time. I feel we should give a lot of credit to Tim Anderson. I don't know. I feel like when it comes to like today's era, I feel like he kind of, I wouldn't say brought it back, but like he started doing it enough to the point where like other players were like, all right, let me give it a try, and then now we're just seeing all these type of players, all these nobodies too, just doing bat flip. It's awesome. I totally encourage it. Like Like when Nick Castellanos, like I'm not calling Nick Castellanos a nobody, but like him doing like his own version of a bat flip just makes him like 10 times cooler to me. Like I'll say the same for any player in the league, but yeah, I mean you're right though. That Jose Bautista bat flip kind of just changed the culture of the MLB. I don't know, it kind of just made it cool again to just absolutely hit a tank off a pitcher and just throw your bat however much farther you wanted to, or just have like twirl it in the air. Like all of these players have their different type of bat flips. It's really cool to see though. We should move on to like another nostalgic play though.
Well, I mean, your moment definitely spurred some conversation. For me, mine that I had was Corey Hart in the 2010 Home Run Derby. And it might not be as nostalgic for you guys, but for me, that was the first Home Run Derby I ever watched. And Corey Hart went out there and hit 13 home runs in the first round, which at the time was, when you had 10 outs, hitting more than like 8 was a lot. And he hit 13. I remember he was just on a roll. He was hitting bombs. And I mean, looking back on that, I sat there and I was like, who is this guy? Like, I never even heard of Corey Hart. I mean, at the time I wasn't that, I mean, I was a baseball fan, but I wasn't, what I am today. So, I didn't know who Corey Hart even was. And he was out there murdering balls in the first round. Unfortunately, he didn't even hit one in the second round. But, it was really awesome for me to see that. And I was like, who the heck is Corey Hart? Why is he hitting so many home runs? It turned out that David Ortiz won that Home Run Derby. And, to me, the Home Run Derby carries so much nostalgia. I mean, when I think of Home Run Derby nostalgia, I actually oftentimes turn to the one at Kauffman Stadium because to me, that lineup at Kauffman Stadium was just above any other between Bautista, Fielder. I mean, there were just studs in that lineup. I mean, throwback to the good old days.
You just segued me to one of my favorite moments.
Can you hear him?
Yes.
Robinson Cano hitting 0 home runs in that Home Run Derby in Kauffman.
Didn't Prince Fielder win that one?
Yeah, that one is where he became the first guy to win a Home Run Derby in both AL and NL.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And his sons were there next to him.
I loved Prince Fielder.
Yeah.
Loved the guy. But my absolute favorite thing was having Robinson Cano go up and hit 0 after he refused to put Billy Butler in it when he deserved it. At Kauffman to have a Royal there. And you know what? That was beautiful. And all the boos he got, all the cheers he got, it was poetic for me.
Wait, they didn't have they didn't put a Royal in there?
Robinson Cano had the choice. He decided to not put Billy Butler in there.
And that was the last time they ever did that.
Pissed.
Why did he have the choice?
Because back then,
I think it was reigning champ.
No, back then there were 2 team captains. It was AL and NL, and they picked who was in the Home Run Derby. And they tried to have a player from the home team there, but
I mean, they do that now. Like they
do that now, but that's because the MLB picks the lineups. But I believe it was until maybe 2014, there was the team captains, and it was the defending champ, and then I believe it was the highest seed in the NL or something that I think they asked someone to, I don't remember. I just remember David Wright was he was the captain in New York. I don't remember who was the AL captain, but he picked like Michael Kadire, Bryce Harper. And it was interesting because it brought a different spin to the Home Run Derby because it wasn't always going to be the same guys, which, to be fair, I loved the Home Run Derby days where it was Prince Fielder, Jose Bautista, David Ortiz every year. Like, to me, and Albert Pujols. Like, those were the best days of the Home Run Derby. But, it was fun seeing it being a little bit different every year, too. But, I mean, the Home Run Derby, to me, just, like I said, it's such a nostalgic moment because every year it's just moments after moments, players, different guys getting in there. I mean, for me, being at the Home Run Derby was, even though it was already my favorite thing ever, was just, it solidified it in my heart as my favorite day of the year in Major League Baseball. And I'm sure you guys have special Home Run Derby moments too, but it's just, God, I just love the home run derby so much.
You know, the home run derby is, I think, the best thing about All-Star Weekend. And you know what? I never thought that way. I thought the All-Star Game was pretty much there with them until they got rid of the World Series advantage because the game means nothing now. That is where I started to have more of a dislike. It's not, I love the All-Star Game still, but I don't like it as much because there's nothing for it. You have nothing to play for. So that's my thing with it. But I think there's one thing I want to talk about real quick. 2013, Houston Astros switched to the AL.
Nice.
It was ridiculous. Because you thought about how even everything was, and you got to the NL Central, 6 teams, AL West, 4 teams.
That was
Weird.
And then here comes the Astros, who had been the laughing stock of the league. They're under the AL. They're still a laughing stock for 2 years, and then look where they are now. Of course, cheating's involved.
They had to cheat their way to get there.
Yeah. They cheated, but still. It's still something to talk about.
That's nostalgia right there. Goodness gracious. Oh, my God. Why did MLB think it was smart to have a division with
6 teams? That's right.
6 teams in one and 4 teams in another? That's just dumb. Like, why would you do that?
Houston's geographically, Houston's it's not close. I don't know why you would put Houston in a division with Cincinnati, Pittsburgh, Milwaukee.
I don't know, but Houston and the Rangers, they're the same. They really are.
Yeah,
they're the same.
That's the same division with the Mariners, Angels, Athletics.
Yeah, they're in a very similar geographical position as the Rockies are. That's just God. Remember, throwback to that Astros team. First of all, Hunter Pence. I'll just say that Hunter Pence to me was the face of that time for the Astros.
Who else do they have on those teams?
Lance Berkman.
Lance Berkman. Well,
Lance Berkman. They had who else? Wasn't Unieski Betancourt on that team too at one point? They had.
I'm looking at the roster.
Oh yeah, looking at rosters from the olden days. That's the best.
JD Martinez.
I think.
Dude, Carlos Lee.
Oh my gosh!
You guys remember Carlos Lee?
Carlos Lee. Wow, that is. Oh my goodness! I'm gonna go to the 2010 Astros. This is gonna give me some serious. Oh my gosh! You ready for this 2010 Astros lineup? Okay, why didn't we just start reading lineups? Humberto Quintero was their catcher. That's a throwback. Lance Berkman at first, Jeff Keppinger at second. I was going to say Jeff Keppinger before. Tommy Manzella at short. Don't know who that is. Chris Johnson. Chris Johnson was a beast with the Braves in 2012. He had 30 home runs. Carlos Lee, Michael Bourne, then Hunter Pence. Jason Bourgeois. Remember that guy?
Yeah. Oh my God.
Jason Bourgeois. What a name. Matt Downs. Wandy Rodriguez in the rotation. Oh my goodness.
Bro, it's kind of crazy how Altuve's played in the NL and AL.
J Happ was in that. Oh my gosh. J Happ was 27. He was in his prime in 2010. Wow, Mark Melanson was on that team. What?
Are you looking at the 2010 team or the 20?
Yeah, 2010. Oh my goodness.
I'm looking at the 2012 team.
All right, let's just do nostalgic lineups. Go ahead, Nick. I'm gonna find another team.
Oh yeah, we should find another team because I'm done with this team. This team sucked. Actually was terrible. How do you finish 6th in the division now?
That's when you know you're bad. That is rough.
I'm gonna go to I'm gonna do 2014. I'll go Oakland Athletics.
Okay, I'm gonna do the 2011 Washington Nationals. This is a team First of all, I don't know how this team didn't do much better than they did. But 2011, listen to this Nationals lineup in 2011. Wilson Ramos at catcher, which he was a very young catcher at the time. Mike Morse at first. God, remember Mike Morse? The dude had one of the weirdest batting stances. Danny Espinoza was their second baseman. Ian Desmond was their shortstop, and Ryan Zimmerman was their third baseman. There was a while there where the Nationals infield first through third was the same for like 5 years. Never changed. Yeah. I mean, the Nationals lineup never changed anyway, like ever. They just had like the same lineup for 4 years. But I mean, Espinoza and Desmond up the middle was just a lock every single season. It was so cool. Left field, Lance Nix, the Nix brothers. They were really interesting. Rick Ankiel was their starting center fielder, and Jason Worth was that right. There was a time where Jason Worth used to murder the Mets, and thankfully now he's just a nostalgic guy. Let's read some bench players, shall we? Roger Bernardina. That's a throwback name right there. Roger Bernardina. Jerry Harrison. Adam LaRoche.
Oh, my God. That weird-ass batting stance.
He stood up there. He was just
lefty.
With his massive beard. Oh, my gosh. Alex Cora was on that team. Pudge Rodriguez. Johnny Gomes. Oh, my
Johnny
God.
Gomes. Talk about beards.
Oh, man. Ryan, you're familiar with Johnny Gomes. Matt Stairs again, Steve Lombardozzi. Oh,
guys, I've been quiet for a moment because I wanted to make sure I had my research right because I remember this very well. 2012. What did the MLB add?
What did they add?
What did they add? What did the MLB add in 2012?
2012 was the
you guys might not know it.
Wild cards.
The wild card game.
Ooh, yeah.
The first ever wild card game, Braves Cardinals.
It's first of all, it's crazy to me to think that the wild cards have only been around since 2012. Yeah. That to me is mind blowing in of itself. But
probably one of the best things MLB ever did.
Yeah, that's such a great decision. Such a great decision.
I want to say this: 2012 NL wild card game, Braves Cardinals, infield fly rule. Do you guys know what do you guys remember that?
Yeah, I do actually.
Oh, that might be one of the worst. That's easily one of the worst calls ever. That is in left field, and they call infield fly.
Honestly, no, that is the worst call ever. Like I'm not even gonna.
No, I can name a couple other.
Okay, well then that's definitely in the top 10. Oh, that was one of the. Oh my gosh, I wasn't even watching that game and looking back on it. I mean, the ball was hit to like mid left field.
Yeah, it was shallow.
And they're like, the only reason they called it was because they were watching the shortstop run after, and the umpire probably just didn't realize where the ball was.
Well, you're trying to look where the ball is.
Oh,
okay, are you guys ready for this 2014 Oakland Athletics team?
I have to name one worse call than that.
Okay. Yes, sure.
Nick, you probably know where I'm going to go.
Yeah, the perfect.
Oh no!
Oh no, that is a worse call.
Yeah.
I mean. It just sucks because like instant replay wasn't a thing at the time. It was kind of a bang bang play, but like I don't know, with 2 outs in the ninth, like you just gotta give it to him at that point.
I mean, to honestly, when the announcers calling the game from up in the booth are watching it and they see on the screen obviously that he's out and call it in real time saying he's out, no, because they're like, oh my, like they realize he's out, and then they're like, oh my God, the umpire somehow called him safe. And it's like that was the play. If you've got to point to any play that led to instant replay among many terrible calls from umpires,
that would be the play.
Yeah, that was the one. That was the one I would point to. I just want to read off some pitchers' names from the Nationals before you do the Athletics, because there are some throwbacks here from this team too. John Lannon, that's a dude that he was on the Mets for a while. Levon Hernandez, Jordan Zimmerman, Jason Marquis, Tom Gorzolani, that was a name. Chin-Ming Wong, Brad Peacock was on that team. Brad Peacock was 23 at the time. Tyler Clippard in his prime. Let's see. Any others? Drew Storen. Yeah. Craig Stammen was on that team. God, the Nationals just never changed players for like 6 years. Alrighty, Nick, let's hear the Athletics.
Okay, ready for this roster?
This team I already know is, oh my gosh.
Shout out to Ryan though. This team lost in the AL wild card to the Royals. One nothing. This team is star-studded. Start at catcher. The star-studded is.
Oh, we're talking about the 2014 A's.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
I need to say something. What ended that season? What turned that season completely around for the A's? What ruined that season?
Trading Yoenis Cespedes and Josh
Yep.
Donaldson.
Okay, well, let me read this lineup. We got Derek Norris at catcher.
Woo!
We got Brandon Moss at first base.
Oh my gosh, Brandon Moss would hit nukes.
We got the young nerd.
Yeah, he hit multiple home runs in the wild card game I was at. He put the Royals down 7-1.
He hits nukes.
We got Eric Sogard at second base. We got Jed Lowry at shortstop.
Oh my goodness.
We got Josh Donaldson at third. Yoenis Cespedes in left. Coco Crisp in center field.
Oh, Coco Chris.
Josh Reddick in right field.
Dude, you just dug up so many memories for me with Coco Crisp. Oh my god.
Alberto Callaspo at DH.
Oh my lord.
John Jaso as a backup catcher.
Oh man.
Steven Vogt as a backup first baseman. Adam
First
Dunn.
baseman.
Yeah. Vogt was there listed as first base.
Wow.
Yo, you guys remember Craig Gentry?
Dude. Oh my gosh. Just
Oh,
stop. This is
Nick Punto.
wasn't he like a first round pick too? Who just ended up
Yeah.
being he was like a number one. He was like a number one prospect in baseball. at
Yo.
one point.
Billy Burns.
Billy Burns. I love Billy Burns.
Oh my god, bro.
That's my guy.
And then some of these pitchers, we got Scott Kazmir, Jason Hamill, Sonny Gray, Tommy Malone. John Lester was on this team.
Oh my god, yeah, he was traded there.
Yeah,
I think. Yeah, he was traded there.
I think that was the year he was left the Red Sox, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty positive because I remember that he was not on the A's for more than like 10 minutes.
Yo, Jeff Samardzija was on this team. Oh my god. Sean Doolittle, Eric O'Flaherty. Yeah, okay, I'm done. But what a team.
Ryan, do you want to pick a lineup or do you want me to just do one?
You go ahead.
All right, I've got here the 2013 Tampa Bay Rays. They finished 92-71.
Oh,
They were in the
prime, bruh.
Yeah, they were in the ALDS, lost to the Red Sox. They won the wild card game. All right, are you ready for this? This is, oh my gosh, this team wasn't even good, but just the names here, just wow. Jose Molina at catcher. Remember when he left, like, Yadier left, like, peanut butter snacks on home plate for when Jose Molina came out? Oh my gosh, that was amazing. James Loney at first. James Loney was just, he was fun. Ben Zobrist was their starting second baseman. He was 32 in 2013. Yunel Escobar, like modern day Fight Club, that guy was. Evan Longoria. Kelly Johnson was in left. Desmond Jennings was in center. A 22-year-old Will Myers in his rookie season. Dude, remember when Will Myers got called up? He hit like 360 in his first, like, he hit 293 in his rookie season with 13 home runs over 88 games. I mean, the dude was a stud when he got called up. And Luke Scott was their DH. Some of their bench guys, Matt Joyce, Jose Lobaton, Sean Rodriguez, Sam Fold, David DeJesus, Delman Young, Jason Bourgeois. Delman Young, man, what a guy. Shelly Duncan. Kevin Kiermaier was there. He played in one game. David Price was on that team, still in his prime. Jeremy Hellickson. Alex Colomé was 24 on the Rays. Matt Moore, Chris Archer. Let's see. Kyle Farnsworth. Fernando Rodney. And Enny Romero. Man. All right. That's enough nostalgia for today. But boy, this will not be the last time we do this.
One more. I'm just gonna go over.
I have one lineup after Nick.
Okay.
After Nick.
No, Ryan, you go first. Ryan, you go first.
No, I want Nick to go first.
Okay. Wow. Okay.
Wow. We're gonna just have a show dedicated to just random lineups. Oh man, this is awesome.
This is the 2012 All-Star Game rosters.
Oh boy, Nick's going deep here. Oh yeah.
Yeah. So we'll start off with the NL for hitters. We got Carlos Gonzalez representing the Colorado Rockies.
The Mets were like inches away from trading for him like 17 times. It just never did it.
He was an absolute stud.
We
got Matt Holliday. We got Chipper Jones. We got Michael Bourne. We got MVP of the game, Melky Cabrera. Andrew McCutchen, Ryan Braun, Jay Bruce, Joey Votto, David Freese, of course, Brian LaHair. That's a name.
What? Brian LaHair? Was he starting?
No, he was like backup.
Oh,
Carlos Beltran, a young Bryce Harper, Buster Posey, Carlos Ruiz.
Is this 2012 you said?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Pablo Sandoval, David Wright, Dan Ugla. Jose Altuve was in the NL All-Star game.
Was it
Rafael Furcal, Starlin Castro, and then some of their pitchers I'll go over. Matt Cain, Gio Gonzalez, a young Steven Strasburg, Clayton Kershaw in his prime, R.A. Dickey in his knuckleball.
Yes, R.A. Dickey.
Cole Hamels, Aroldis Chapman, Wade Miley.
Oh my
and
gosh.
Jonathan Papelbon.
Yes, Jonathan Papelbon. The man who literally fought Bryce Harper in the dugout. Oh my goodness.
The NL actually won this game 8-0, and I have no idea how, because listen to this AL lineup I'm about to throw at you. We'll start off lead off with Derek Jeter.
Oh man.
And then like it lists like the starters and then like their backups. So Derek Jeter, Asdrubal Cabrera, Robinson Cano, Ian Kinsler, Josh Hamilton, Mike Trout, Jose Bautista, Mark.
Wait, Mike Trout was a reserve?
Mike Trout was a reserve.
Woo.
Prince Fielder, Paul Konerko, Joe Mauer, Adrian Beltre, Miguel Cabrera, Elvis Andrus, David Ortiz, Billy Butler, Mike Napoli, Matt Wieters, Curtis Granderson, and Adam Jones. And dude, man, this rotation with Verlander, Joe Nathan, David Price, Matt Harrison, prime Jared Weaver, prime
Matt Harrison,
Hale, Ryan Cook, Jim Johnson, and Fernando Rodney.
Wow,
that was awesome.
The one team I have to go to is the 2008 Cubs. The fact that they did not win a World Series. And let me just name some of these guys. Mark DeRosa, Suke Fukudome.
Yes, Coach K.
Derek Lee, Aramis Ramirez, Giovanni Soto, Ryan Marriott, one of my favorite baseball players ever, Alfonso Soriano.
Soriano.
Now let's go to some of the pitchers. Carlos Zambrano.
The Marlin.
Dug out and broke his hand.
Yeah.
Really? Ryan Dempster.
Ryan
Carlos Marmol. In the bullpen, Jeff Samardzija. And their closer, Kerry Wood.
Kerry Wood.
That team was stacked.
That team was so stacked. So 97 and 65. And could not win a World Series.
Yeah, well, because the Cubs are cursed. Gosh, that is just wow. Aramis Ramirez. That dude had a whack batting stance too.
Carlos Zambrano.
Dude, Carlos Marmol, who was their closer, was in their rotation for the first 3 years of his career, and he was just terrible. And then he became one of the best closers in baseball. Wow, that's crazy, man. There were some serious high tempers in that time of Major League Baseball. The biggest one was Juan Pierre. that dude would get a pitch that was like an inch off the plate inside, and he would throw his bat down and just charge them out. It would be a curveball that bounced in front of his feet, and he would just start screaming. Oh my gosh, that guy had the worst temper ever. But man, there were some dudes with tempers. I mean, they really went. They must have put in an anger management class for baseball players, because we don't see that anymore. There's no more David Ortiz breaking bullpen phones. That just doesn't happen anymore. Oh my goodness. All right. Oh, the nostalgia was fun, but it has to end at some point. But we will definitely be doing this again, especially with Marco here. But goodness gracious, it started off slow, but we got rolling. That was enjoyable. So now we have our power rankings and then our segments for the day. And honestly, the power rankings are not very different this week than they were last week, because, it's from the All-Star game day and then 3 days off. So there's really only been 3 to 4 days of baseball that we have power rankings for, but we're going to do them anyway. Starting at number 10, they've been at the 10 spot for the last 3 weeks for me. It's the New York Mets. They just can't seem to get out of their own way, but they still managed to stay in first place, so I'm not going to complain.
I saw the Mets at 10 as well, barely, after the horrible performance against the Pirates, but I kept the Mets in there.
Hey, I mean, they've scored 29 runs in their last 3 games. Their bats are finally waking up.
Padres have scored 41.
Yeah, the Padres they scored 25.
22 spot helped.
Yeah, it did. Made a big difference.
Whenever I start these power rankings, I usually start with the Mets, and they're usually always at 10. So that's just the way it goes.
It's just the way it goes. I mean, they've been at 10 for the last 3 weeks for I know you and I don't know about Ryan, but I mean, it's just they've never left.
I think they've been my number 10 the last 3 weeks also.
They fall in the middle of the week, and then they know, they're going to be doing their power rankings. We gotta play better. So they bring themselves back up to number 10. They're a roller coaster ride. Number 9, this one, they were at 11 last week, so they were on the verge of getting in there. But Nick, you hated on them earlier in the year, but Ryan and I had faith in them. The Seattle Mariners are suddenly making a playoff push right now, and are magically, I don't know how many games out there are. They're probably they're plenty of games out, but they're 7 games over 500. Yeah, they're 8.5 out, but still they're 3 out of the wild card though.
I was saying the division.
Yeah. Well, yes, I wanted to refer to the wild card. They're 3 games out of the wild card, so anything can happen. I mean, really, it's the Mariners are they're doing something.
They have a better record than the Yankees.
Yeah, that's not too hard, but still, I mean, they're I don't know.
My number 9, I'm going with the Athletics. Still up there, still playing good baseball despite injuries, and I think this team is going to be a wild card team and a team that has to be feared.
I've got them at 11, so I agree a little bit.
I have the Mariners at 11.
Oh.
Yeah, I also have the Athletics at 9. I mean, somehow, even after their atrocious start that we always talk about at the beginning of the season, they've been able to climb back. I think they had the best record in the MLB since their rough patch to start the season. And yeah, like Ryan said, this team will probably be a wild card team, and this team could honestly get pretty hot for the playoffs. That's the cool thing about playoff baseball.
Yeah,
I've got to commend the Mariners real quick. This team, when Spencer Turnbull no-hit them, had a team batting average under the Mendoza line.
Wow.
And they're now 3 games back in the second wild card spot. That's a great turnaround right there.
That is a very special. To me, it's very reminiscent of the Mets from 2019, except where you go from dead in the water to somehow managing to be in a wild card race. Like I don't think any of us thought, especially a month ago. I mean, there's very few times in a year, it rarely happens in general, where a team can go from being so far back to suddenly in a wild card race at the deadline. Like, it just doesn't happen. So good for the Mariners. But I have a feeling for our top 8, we're going to be probably fairly similar with a lot of these spots. They're probably going to all be the same teams. Like, we really have there's no disparities here anymore. But you never know. We may have some that are different. Number 8, I have the Boston Red Sox. They were at 6 last week. They've been still in the top 10, but they've been kind of treading water atop the AL East right now. They're trying to just keep themselves going.
Number 8, I'm going to go with the Brewers. They really got hot, and now they're just kind of tapered off a little bit, staying around that 5-5 range in each of their 10 games. They're still leading that division and still doing a great job dominating that division, but they're not soaring to where I can put them above someone else like the Padres or any other team that's near them.
Yeah, so far me and Ryan have been the same exact way. I also have the Brewers at 8. And it'll probably be a race between them and the White Sox, who can win their division the fastest. Right now, it's kind of looking like the Brewers because the Reds don't even have 50 wins yet, and I don't know. Like Brian said, the Brewers team hasn't really been soaring out of the gates though, but they've been just consistently, steadily the best team in that division, and it hasn't been really close. I really thought the Cardinals were going to be a lot better this year. We haven't seen that yet. They've been struggling as of late, and yeah, the Brewers with that pitching, and with their recent acquisition of hitting, they've been nice so far.
I've got them a little bit higher, predominantly. I'll talk about it more in a little bit, but they definitely are playing really well. At number 7, they've been at number 7 now this week and last week, and they were at 6 the week before that, so they're really kind of staying in the same spots. The San Diego Padres, but good for them at least for staying around the same position, similar to the Mets. They aren't falling, but they're also really not rising, which in this division they really need to start picking it up from now, or they're not going to have a shot at winning it. So we'll see what the Padres can do.
I agree. I have the Padres at 7, and I think that they just haven't taken any big steps to where they are proving that they can be right in that divisional race. Right now it's between the Dodgers and the Giants, and the Padres are still hanging around, but they're not posing any true threat because they'll get hot for a few games and taper off. They need to get a solid winning streak going to put pressure on those two top teams.
Yeah, I agree with both of you guys. I have the Padres next. I don't know. I'm not saying this team is in danger of the wild card, but I would just keep an eye out because as of right now, with the Dodgers being the first wild card, they automatically go second wild card, and so there's a couple teams that like could just be settled that are just sneakily like in the playoff hunt. Like I think the Reds are in that mix right now. Let me pull up the standings. If the Cardinals get hot at any point in time, if anyone else from the NL East wants to start playing baseball, they can contention for the NL wild card. But
watch out for the Phillies. I will say that. Watch out.
Phillies are rising right now.
The Phillies are rising, and they have a very easy schedule. I'm going to pull up my tweet for you because it is if I can find it, because the Phillies right now it's going to take me probably a few minutes because it's from like a week ago. But the Phillies,
the most disappointing team for me right now has been the Cardinals. They have
Nationals.
In my opinion, they have the best corner infield duo in the league, and they are just struggling mightily. The pitching hasn't been there. The offense hasn't been that great either. I expected a lot more from them this year, and they have just not shown much to me at all.
I literally drafted Juan Soto second in our fantasy league. And what he's been doing lately is what I expected for him to do.
The past 4 games, he's been bashing right now.
Oh, I understand completely. He's been absolutely insane for me. But I expected that a lot more at the beginning of the season, but he said it himself. The home run derby helped his swing, and it helped his launch angle. So I'm excited to see what the Nationals can do for the rest of the season. Obviously, we know what Trey Turner brings to the table. I don't know why I'm talking about the Nationals now.
It's okay. I'm trying to figure out where that tweet is that I made because it was very it told a very big story, but for some reason I just can't seem to find it. either way, I'll sum it up for you because I remember it vaguely, but don't quote me on the numbers here. The Mets at the top of the division in the NL East are facing 12 teams for the rest of the year that are over 500. The Phillies are only facing 8 teams for the rest of the year that are over 500. And the Phillies are going to play 24 games for the rest of the year against last place teams. So the Phillies right now are in a position that they can make a super rush. If they get a bat and if they get a really good arm, watch out for the Phillies. I'm nervous about the Phillies because they can seriously take off. They're only 2.5 back of the Mets. And honestly, I have a feeling that if you don't win the division in the NL East, you're not making the playoffs. So
You're not.
The Phillies are going to really have to push here. If they can go on a run, then I could see it potentially being maybe the Phillies make a run for that NL wild card. And obviously, I'm hoping that the Mets can hold on for the division. I think the Mets in the end will prevail because I know that they're going to get some big names at the deadline that'll help push them through. But watch out for the Phillies. I think they're going to go more after Jose Barrios. We'll talk more about deadline stuff next week because we're going to have a really, really fun trade deadline for those of us that are going to be here participating. But regardless, Phillies, watch out for them for the wild card. But that's number 7. We now move on to number 6. Man, that was really I just love talking about baseball. At number 6, I have the Tampa Bay Rays. They were number 5 last week, and they ever since their really big stretch, they haven't been able to consistently stay in that top 5. But they're still holding on there, and I do have them over the Red Sox, even though they're in second place. But they're just sticking around. They're not letting go.
6, I have the Rays. I think that this team, despite not having their ace in Tyler Glasnow, they're still playing well. They're still giving the Red Sox a run for their money. That is going to be a tight race all the way to the end of the year. So I just think the Rays need to get another power bat. That's what I really think they need to get right now at the deadline. And watch out, Nelson Cruz could be the guy.
Ooh, I like it.
Yeah, also have the Rays at 6. I still think me and Ryan have not copy each other, but we have the same exact standings as of right now. Yeah, man, I don't know how this team always does it. They always find a way to win during the regular season. I got to commend them for it. The reigning AL champs, after losing so much pitching with Snell and Morton, which we thought would be dismal. It never is for them. They're always just a utility ran team that always find a way to win. Joey Wendell sums up that team perfectly to me. Just a fine utility player that just does his job. And like Ryan said, with getting Glasnow back later in the season, that this team could be kind of scary. And we know what they do in the playoffs, so just watch out. 7-3 in the last 10.
I'm just blown away with the Rays. I mean, they have Brett Phillips as like their star left fielder or wherever he's playing now. Like,
hey, that man is a national icon. Okay,
yeah, but still, it's like 230.
Watch it.
He's a fun player to watch, but like they have Kevin Kiermaier as their starting center fielder, and he's hitting like 213. I know, but it's like
utility players.
These guys are incredible in the field.
It's that their bats are just awful, but they manage to score so many runs
to heat up too. That's all.
Man. It's like, to me, like the Rays are just, they can have 9 guys hitting 180, but they'll still average 7 runs a game because they'll manage to get like a walk and an error and then a bloop, and then they'll get a home run and it makes it 5-0, and then the game's over because of their pitching.
Scrappy. They're one of the most scrappier teams in the MLB.
I would make the argument that they're the scrappiest. They're fun to watch. Alrighty, cracking into the top 5, and honestly here, the top 5 is, I would say, as usual, but this week as well, they are a little bit further away from the rest of the group. Like the Rays are going to need to do a little bit more to get themselves into that top 5. I've got the Houston Astros at number 5. They were number 4 last week, so they've been consistently in that top 5, but they're slowly dropping a little bit over the past few weeks. But I mean, it's really not a big deal because so are the Athletics. But I mean, for right now, the Astros are just holding the top, the AL West.
I have the Red Sox at 5. I think that they're just kind of hanging on right now. They're not taking advantage of what they can get and really taking a big push to where they can give themselves a cushion in the AL East. So I have the Red Sox right now at 5.
Yeah, at this point, I think me and Ryan have the same standings. I have the Red Sox next, and I don't know, man. This team is just really fun to watch. You got a superstar in Bogart, you have a rising superstar in Devers. JD Martinez has been consistently one of the best DHs all year, and this team has just found a way without their pitching. I'm not going to say without their pitching because that's not fair to some of their stars like Evaldi and some other guys, but it really feels the way like that. This team has just ran through that lineup, and they'll always have, like I think I said this last show, they'll always have a fighting chance in any game just because of their lineup. And they've their GM has done such a good job of surrounding their hitters with protection and just with lefty righty combos. It's a potent lineup. It's a scary lineup.
Yeah, it really is. And I want to say, I've been saying it all season. I called it before the year. You guys didn't believe me. And now at this point, I can say I told you so. Because when I said that 2 months ago, you said, well, there's a lot of season left. Well, here we are.
You thought the Yankees are going to be in fourth place?
No, I thought that the Red Sox were going to be in second, though. I thought that they were going to do well when you guys said that they weren't going to be. You both thought they were going to be in fourth.
You know what? It's the Alex Cora effect. I'm sorry. I downplayed it, and he has been terrific in his first year.
I thought you needed pitching to win in the MLB.
Yeah, the pitching is going to come back to hurt him. And
Yes.
Just wait.
Wait for what? What are we waiting for?
The Blue Jays are going to make a run.
George Springer is still not 100%.
God, poor George Springer.
I said
right.
he was overpaid when they gave him that money.
I wouldn't say he's overpaid.
I still think he's overpaid.
Uh,
I will say, though, the Mets, while at the time we all were like regretting that they didn't sign any of these guys, all the players that they always no, but seriously, look back at it. The Mets were so heavy into Bauer and Springer. They didn't get either of them, and Bauer is now probably not going to play another game this year, and Springer has barely played at all. So it's fascinating to me that they it's almost like they strategically. Well, yeah, Lindor's hurt, but he's been healthy all year at least, and he's been able to play.
Hitting some 230.
Yeah, but Lindor's presence on the field is just a completely it doesn't matter how he hits.
$41 million just for that presence, not for him to hit 227. So it's worth it, buddy. It's really
he's been hitting 290 over the last month. He's finally picked it up a little bit. But yes, unfortunately he's hurt now and it's going to be out for a while. So we get into the top four.
When he's hurt, it's 227. But man, that presence on the field. Oh wait, there's no presence because he's hurt.
He's on the team for another 10 years. I'm not really worried about it. At number 4, I have the Brewers here. You guys had them lower. I've got the Brewers here predominantly. I mean, they murdered the Cincinnati Reds coming out of the All-Star break. The Reds murdered them before the break. The Brewers came back and then murdered them. And the Brewers have been hot. I mean, the Brewers have been sticking around in this top 10, around the top 5 for a while. And because of that stretch against the Reds, just pushed them right up there. And honestly, the power rankings are, especially when you get into the teams that are obviously having great seasons, it comes down to who's hottest at the time. And right now, the Brewers are just finding a little bit of a hot streak.
Number 4, I have the Astros. This team is still, after a rough start, this team is taking over that division, and they still are hanging on despite countless great games from the Oakland Athletics, who are right there. They're still fighting them off. And you know what? The pitching is what my worry was with this team coming in. McCullers has been good. Greinke's been fine. I think that this Astros team has really put themselves in a great position to win this division.
Yeah, like I said, Ryan and I have the same exact standings. Astros coming at 4. And Michael Brantley is just so slept on. Like, it is actually absurd to me how
I named him an All-Star game starter. Just want to put that out there.
He did, and for good reason. He might win the AL batting title. He might be the reason why Vlad doesn't win the Triple Crown. And
come on.
Yeah, Shohei Ohtani.
Shohei Ohtani exists.
That's from a batting average perspective.
MVP.
Yes.
And there's another player on the Astros that
is bringing a great deal today.
Huh?
What did you say?
Nick, continue.
Okay. I was just gonna say there's another Astro that I want to talk about later for players to watch that I feel like no one has talked about in the past like whole season. I think you guys probably guess who it is. But yeah, this Astros team just finds a way as always. I had a feeling that they wouldn't really fall off just because of the experience on that team, but I mean they're probably cheating their way to get here at this point too, so who knows at this point.
Wow, brutal. All right, so now we get to the top three. And the top three, as has been the case for the last, 30 weeks, obviously not that long, but as has been the case for the entire season, the top three is just a jumbled mess. However, the top three are the same three teams that were in it for me last week. These three teams were in the top three last week, but they are different in different spots. 2 and 3 are flipped for me, and then the number 1 team is still the same. At number 3, I have the Los Angeles Dodgers. They've been playing very well. They've been playing great baseball, but for me, the two teams ahead of them have been playing a little bit better lately. The Dodgers went through a bit of a dry spell, but they're still obviously seriously one of the best teams in the game at the moment.
I got the White Sox at 3. This team is still really good. Tim Anderson is on fire right now, and this team is still not even fully healthy. Once this team gets fully healthy, I think they are World Series bound, or at least World Series caliber by far. So,
well, I mean, they brought Eloy Jimenez back from the dead. Apparently, I mean, remember how they were making like obituaries for him when he wasn't playing. They were posting like Eloy Jimenez yeah, it was really weird. But they brought him back from the dead, and he's playing now, so good for him.
I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to be quiet.
Yeah, like I've said the past entire time, Ryan and I have the same standings. The White Sox coming at 3. Yeah, I hate this team so much just because how good they are. But it just is so frustrating. It's their time though. Everyone gets their time. Every team gets their time to be good in the division. This is the White Sox turn. I hope they don't make anything out of it.
Royals got next, baby. Royals got next.
You're in the bottom of the division.
I disagree.
I disagree, bro.
Look out for the Tigers.
Look out for the Tigers.
7 games under 500.
I
was just about to say they jumped out of the bottom 8.
Jump off my house.
They jumped out of the bottom 8. I had them in the bottom 8 all season. They are no longer in the bottom 8. I have taken them out of that bracket. They are playing phenomenally right now, and they're still 7 games under 500.
I just tweeted that we currently own the MLB's longest winning streak right now.
Yeah,
crazy. I don't know. I'm on cloud 9. We're 7 games under 500 as a Tigers fan. It's crazy.
The Tigers are on fire right now. I don't know why, but they are. They are just.
It's just a fun team to watch, man. I mean, you can it might sound laughable, but the team that we throw out there every day is just fun.
The sad thing is you're probably going to end up trading most of those players anyway.
No, because most of these players are prospects. The one player that probably trade would probably be Jonathan Scope.
Yeah, watch out for him maybe coming to the Mets. Wouldn't be surprised.
If you give some good prospects, I'm down.
So that's number 3. No, it's not. The Tigers aren't number 3, but that was the discussion in the number 3 spot. So now we get into number 2, and what I want you guys to do after I say mine is I'm going to have you say it at the same time, but I'll do mine first. Number 2, I have the White Sox. They have just been they've been really good. They just finished off a series against the Astros where they took 2 out of 3. That's a powerhouse series right there. 2 dominant teams, and those series don't happen very often in the season, but it just happened, and they have been really. That was a fun series to watch, and right now the White Sox are just they're playing great baseball. So Ryan, I don't know if you are back after you jumped off the roof. I know you have to run back up the stairs afterwards, but if you are back, I would like you and Nick to say your number 2 at the same time. But I think Ryan's left us. Unfortunately,
I feel
Ryan.
Bad rather the Royals are. Wow.
Oh, there he is.
I am depressed.
All right, so I'm going to do a countdown.
That's happened to me with the past month with the Royals. Bobby Witt and Nick Prado are now in AAA.
Yeah, it's
Only
congratulations.
good thing.
My
That's
boy
huge.
Desperado.
Sucks. Our two best pitchers, arguably, Singer and Duffy, just went on the IL again.
Ooh, man, Duffy could have been a big trade deadline piece for you too. That could have gotten you some serious prospects.
That's okay. I think keeping Duffy in the long term is
I
nice.
can't do it.
I agree, yes, but oh man, and I had them.
Just imagine. Just imagine. Imagine what this
You
team
say it again, Michael?
if Duffy, Mondesi, and Benintendi never get hurt. If Mondesi played more than 3 games, that'd be nice.
Yeah, and I had them picked to go to the wild card.
You know what's pathetic? You know what's pathetic? The other week, watch it. The other week, I looked in the mirror, okay? I have gray hairs from
God
my
damn.
coaching and from the Royals. I have gray hairs already. My life is a joke. And then you guys want to know the worst part?
Yes.
Alex Gordon's celebration night is on Saturday. My favorite baseball player ever. I can't go because I have to coach.
Oh.
And my players told me last night, I don't even want to play this weekend. I almost flipped.
Yikes.
All right, so do you want to say that your number 2 team is in the power rankings with me?
Wait. We're gonna count down from 3. When I say,
I already know it. I know
Yeah,
we're
yeah, we're good.
okay, it's gonna be 3, 2, 1, go. After I say go, you say it. Ready? 3, 2, 1, go.
Dodgers.
Whoa!
Hey!
That means
They
our whole list, bro, was the same.
Nick, did I actually share my doc with you? Hold on.
That's amazing. You guys, a clean sweep. Wow.
Clean sweep.
We love it. Yeah, the Dodgers, they're great. We know.
Yeah,
But
they just lost.
But you know what that means?
Dodgers team needs to get hot quick. Of course,
they need to get healthy.
Saying a top 5 shortstop in baseball right now, and they're still winning baseball
the World Series MVP.
Yeah. And Mookie's hurt. Mookie's been on and off hurt.
Mookie's been kind of playing on like fire recently. I think he reached base like 9 of his past like 19 plate appearances. I saw.
Yes.
Mookie is. I love Mookie Betts. Mookie Betts is the second best player in baseball. Whoever says that he isn't, I don't
Terrible.
know.
Terrible. You're terrible. You're terrible. You're terrible. That's just not true.
Yeah.
Mike Trout, Jacob deGrom.
Okay, I'm not including pitchers in this one right now. I'm talking about position players.
Okay, hitters. And even at that, I disagree, but that's fine.
Who? Acuna?
Shohei Ohtani.
Recency bias.
Buddy, I love Shohei more than the next guy, but no, he is not Mookie.
He's not a 5. Well, you could argue Shohei's like a 6'2" player.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if we're talking about
Shohei this season is top 5. Do you know who else was top 5 until his ACL went bye-bye? Acuna.
Byron Buxton.
Acuna.
Yeah, that's true.
Bucks hasn't even played enough.
I know when he plays though, man.
When he plays, oh my god, that dude is so good.
He's been on fire.
Remember when the Twins almost DFA'd him because he couldn't hit?
I thought they DFA him.
No,
I think they did. Yeah, no one took him.
Sure.
I could have sworn they did because the guy couldn't hit 200 for his life.
Yeah,
it was kind of funny.
He was hitting sub 200.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is his first year ever hitting like over 210 in a season. At number 1, we obviously all have the Giants, who are just. I have no words for them.
We have a big change here. Crawford's hurt.
Yeah, I know, but still, dude, look at their lineup. Their lineup is bandaged.
I love seeing Blake Harris's tweets, and like one of them spoke volumes to me yesterday. It was like, because obviously the Dodgers were playing the Giants yesterday. It was like, I just don't get how this Giants team does it, man. And I was like, you are spinning.
Facts.
I saw them live.
Where's this fountain of youth they're at? I'd love to go to it and be able to go back and play some baseball, honestly.
That team is just – if Joe was scrappy, honestly, they're probably the scrappiest right now.
Darren Ruff has been their starting first baseman.
That to me is just scrappy. That is just hard nosed. We're gonna just throw out these players every day, and we're gonna win a baseball game.
I mean, Darren Ruff was on some of those nostalgic lineups from like 2015.
Wasn't he just playing in Japan like 3 years ago?
I mean, the guy last played in major leagues in like 2016 with the Phillies. Like, and he's their starting first baseman. It's almost like Eric Thames all over again. But I mean, their lineup.
It's okay.
Yeah, that's true. But
jacked.
Yeah, wow, he came back.
If I saw him just walking down the street angry, I'd run. I would just run off.
And you even know who he is. You're like, no, hi Eric, bye Eric. Like, sorry. Oh man. But yeah, so that's our power rankings. We're now going to get into our segments. We start us off at. I completely forgot who goes first.
I think it's Ryan.
It's me.
Yeah, Ryan's at first base. Well, we haven't had the five of us together to do this segments in like forever.
Five. Damn it.
Four, sorry. The four of us haven't.
I don't know about.
The four of us haven't been together to do our segments in a long time because last week Nick and Marco didn't have them either. So I just was like, I'm not used to going first, second, third to home. I'm just used to going, okay, second to home today. So Ryan, yes, you're first at first base.
It's kind of dare, dude. Gosh, guess you're not that guy. All right, team of the week. The team first is the Chicago White Sox. Won 8 out of their last 10. They're on fire, playing great baseball. Part of it's Tim Anderson. In the past, I think 10 games, he has 21 hits. Guy's insane. 15 runs scored. He's playing at an elite level right now. Catcher. For once, it's not Salvador Perez. It's Will Smith. First base, Goldschmidt. Second base, Miguel Rojas. I know he's a shortstop, but I cannot find anyone else at second base that's just done anything. So Rojas has been transitioned to second.
Hey, Jeff McNeil has had a great week.
Always goes back to the Mets.
He's hitting like 350 in his last 10. He's hitting 364 in his last 10 games.
Well, Miguel Rojas also has the most hits out of anyone in the past week, along with Juan Soto. So would you like to really battle here? No, I've done the research, buddy.
He's not a second baseman.
And it's called transition. Shortstop to second, yeah. Third base is Machado. Shortstop is the man that I've been raving about all show, Tim Anderson. Outfield is kind of stacked. Juan Soto, Mookie Betts, and I really don't want to say his name, but I'm going to. Michael Conforto. I knew he was going to do this. Can I remove him?
Because no one ever respects the Mets, ever.
I can remove Michael.
Did you guys see that awesome video? You guys see that awesome?
Oh, he just removed himself. That was not me.
You're welcome. I did that for you.
Thank you.
Wait,
okay.
There's this video of Gary Thornton calling a home run for Michael Conforto in the Little League World Series.
Yeah.
And then it's him calling the game-winning one, and I thought that was pretty cool.
Oh, that's so dope.
That's going to be our future play-by-play class teacher, though.
Yes! Dude, Gary Thornton.
I'm going to dominate that class.
That class is going to be so fun.
And then there's Michael.
I'm in that class, too.
Really right.
Gary Thornton is literally, has had my dream job. What do you do? I'm going to be just... this next semester is going to just be like our dream semester. Yeah, you're probably right, dude. I am going to be just like, I'm going to be in heaven in that class. Oh gosh, Gary.
It won't
Thornton.
be heaven when you're tapping me every 10 seconds saying it's Gary Thornton. Nick, we're sitting far away from him, okay?
Yeah.
As far away.
You're gonna see me walk into class, and you're like, "Oh, the seat's taken." Sorry. Well, actually, I'm probably gonna be there first, and you guys are gonna be the ones walking in. You're gonna be like, let's sit over there."
Well, you know why? I'm going to take a light rail class. So,
wait, you're not going to have your car next semester?
Oh, long story. Nobody on air needs to know about this. So let me go back.
Okay, yes.
DH. I put Vladdy Jr. has 3 home runs since returning. He's still a very good hitter. Starting pitchers: Corbin Burns, Carlos Rodon, and I have to put John Lester, a 420-foot Bomb.
416.
No,
Wow.
to
It was
be specific,
416.
it was 419, but I wanted to round up to give him some respect. Okay,
Round up to 24.
no, he said 420, 420 foot.
Oh, I think he said 24.
No, 420.
Oh yeah, then that's cool.
That's cool.
And then my relief pitchers, I'm gonna have Alex Reyes and Trevor May.
Yes!
Alex
Wow!
Reyes
That took him a second.
24 of 24 and save
Yeah,
opportunity.
Alex Reyes is a future star.
Yeah. He really
We
is.
have to talk about that.
We knew he
People
would
have to
be.
start talking about that. How he is a future star in this league.
I would make the argument he already is a star. And is, I mean, it's too bad that he had his Tommy John surgery and missed 2 years because he was going to be a stud for the Cardinals 2 years ago. But when he came up, man, he was just electrifying and then had that devastating injury, and everyone was just worried about the rest of his career. And here he is, and he's just pitching phenomenally. So good for him. Nick, I thought you had something to say. Never mind.
No, I have nothing to say.
Okay, so we'll roll over to you at second base. We have a little roller to second base as Nick will field it and take it to the bag.
Yes. So we'll start with the hitters. I have 4 hitters, 4 pitchers. I might start calling this the Adam Frazier segment because always finds a way to make my list because no one
Previously
talks about him.
Ryan McMahon segment.
Right, yeah. But he totally just fell off. Like,
Yeah.
the only reason I know is because of my fantasy team. Hopefully, Adam Frazier doesn't do the same. Hitting 325. He might be the reason why. Who's the NL batting champ right now? Oh, Nick Castellanos.
Yeah.
He might be the reason why Nick Castellanos does not win the NL batting. What if Adam Frazier was the NL batting title? That would just be crazy. 4
Probably
home
would be,
runs,
too.
31 RBIs, very solid numbers. Next, I'm gonna go to Josh Harrison. I feel like no one's been mentioning his name in the Nationals lineup. He's quietly hitting 282, 5 home runs, 35 RBIs. And my first Tiger on this segment, I try not to be biased. But I had to throw him in there. Jonathan Scope is hitting 285 with 17 home runs and 58 RBIs. And on the air yesterday, while watching the Tigers game, they mentioned that he is the most multi-hit games in the AL.
Wow.
Yeah. Jonathan Scope has the most multi-hit games in the AL. Turn me up. It's so awesome.
That's
And then my last hitter comes from Houston, Yordan Alvarez. No one talks about this man either, and he absolutely launches balls into orbit in Houston. 287, 17 home runs, 58 RBIs. Damn, him and Scope have like identical numbers. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's really true.
And then we'll go to the pitching. Tyler Mahle for the Cincinnati Reds is posting a 7-3 record with a 3.93 ERA, 126 strikeouts. Absolutely absurd. Really haven't heard much of the guy this season. Next, a very underrated part of the Rays losing their pitching and the Braves gaining pitching and Charlie Morton. 8-3 record, 3.69 ERA, 122 strikeouts. Very, very solid stuff. And then from the Boston Red Sox, I mentioned earlier how they don't have pitching. Well, I kind of contradicted myself here because I have Nick Pivetta, who has been superb, 8-4 record. ERA is a little high, 4.37, but 117 strikeouts. Very nice. And then Chris Flexen.
Yes.
9-3 record for the Mariners, 3.35 ERA. Only 65 strikeouts, but man, you can't argue with that record, and that ERA has been super solid too.
Dude, what a story for him. He was on the Mets and was just one of the worst players ever. And then he went to Korea, I believe, comes back, and now he is just dominating. It's really, I'm very happy for him because he was always a really great dude. So now we will round third and head home because we hit a ground rule double. And we get to the top 5 moments of the week, which is my segment here on the show. And we are here. Yes, Ryan, what's with the face? I feel like this just happens every time I talk. I don't think I need to really address it. So number 5, I have John Lester going 2 for 3 with a 2-run homer, as well as throwing 7 innings of shutout ball on 6 hits and 7 strikeouts. No walks, by the way, for the Washington Nationals. And I mean, what a game. I mean, just gosh, John Lester looking like a stud out there. Now, the next 3 moments on here, and it's not because of bias, just simply because of what's happened. The next three moments all involve the New York Mets, weirdly enough. At number 4, we have the Mets and Reds game from yesterday, where they had one of the best games I've ever watched. They had a 15-11 game that ended in the 11th inning. Mets led 3-0, then were trailing 7-3. They tied it at 7. Then it was one of those games. It was 8-7, 9-8, 9-9, 10-9, 10-10, 11-10, 15-10, 15-11. It was just such a back and forth game, and it's just one of those games you're going to look back on at the end of the year and say, wow, that was a really awesome game. At number 3, we have the Mets win from July 18th, which was Sunday, or I don't remember. It was Sunday, where the Mets were trailing 6-0 in the first after an absolute implosion. And then they managed to score 7 runs over the next 9 innings. It capped off by a 2-run homer from Michael Conforto as they win a game after trailing by 6. It was the first time in Major League history where a team blew a 6-run lead. In one, no, it wasn't the first time, but it was one of 3 times in Major League history where a team blew a 6-run lead the night before and then made up a 6-run deficit the day after. It was a really, really crazy moment, and definitely was one of the better games of the year. Then at number 2, this one would have been number 1 in any other week if it weren't for the number 1 spot. Jacob Stallings hitting a walk-off grand slam to cap off a monster comeback against the New York Mets in a game where the Mets once led 6-0. The Pirates came back and scored 9 runs in the last 2 innings, capped off by a Jacob Stallings grand slam. And no matter how much it made me want to punch a hole through my locker at work, it still was an incredible game. And nonetheless, Jacob Stallings gets the number 2 spot here on the list. And then at number 1, Jay Cronenworth hitting for the cycle for the San Diego Padres amidst one of just many absolute dominant games against the Washington Nationals. Cronenworth, anytime anyone hits for the cycle, it's just a special moment. It's something that doesn't happen very frequently in baseball. So for Cronenworth, that is the 2nd cycle of the year in Major League Baseball, and he takes the number 1 spot this week here on the top 5. So that is that for our top 5 players of the week. Moments of the week. Anybody have any comments, concerns, questions? No? Okay.
Beautiful stuff.
Yes, this was a wonderful show this week. It was a good one. I really enjoyed the nostalgic moments. It made it for a little bit. What happened here? I did not do that. Why am I on the screen by myself? I don't know. I didn't even touch my computer, and I magically just became on the screen. So that'll do it for today's show. It was a good one. Next week, we are going to be preparing for trade deadline time. It is going to be right in the heart of the trade deadline. By the way, we didn't mention it. Jock Peterson, first trade of this year's official deadline season, was traded from the Cubs to the Braves. Yes, Ryan?
Big trade for the Braves to try to shore up injuries and the loss of Marcell Ozuna. We also have to mention,
are the Cubs selling?
2-year extension for Lance Lynn in Chicago with a mutual option for 2024. He has been terrific this year. He's definitely in that Cy Young race.
Absolutely.
Are the
yes.
Cubs selling?
Absolutely.
Chris Bryant's gone. Yes, they're selling.
Bryant, Baez, Kimbrel, Rizzo maybe, Contreras maybe. Wow.
Crazy, bro. That 2016 Cubs roster is down the drain.
It is going to be one of the wackiest deadlines we have had in years. And I cannot wait for it. And I have a feeling deadline day itself is not going to be the biggest day of the week. I just have a feeling that deadline day is just going to be a recap, because with the way things are going, I have a feeling most of these trades are going to happen days before the July 31st deadline. We're still going to have coverage on that day. We are going to be doing a live stream the day of the July 31st trade deadline. We're going to be, yes, you knew that, Ryan.
My older brother's birthday. Oh, wait, actually, I'm not good enough to see him on his birthday. We're good. Sounds good. I'll be there.
We already discussed this weeks ago anyway. But we're going to be doing a show.
Memory. How am I supposed to remember that?
I don't know.
I don't know.
We're going to be doing a show the day of the deadline next Saturday. It is. We will be here in the morning. I don't know what time we're going to be starting. It depends on when the deadline is, but I plan on doing a 3 to possibly just a 3-hour show leading up to the deadline. Guys, it's going to fly. We do podcasts in an hour and a half, and I sat here last year in the deadline just refreshing Twitter for 6 hours, and it flew.
No, it's not that. It's just how early are we talking in the morning?
Like 10 o'clock. The deadline is at the deadline's at 1 o'clock Arizona time.
I'm cool with that. Nope. All you had to say was that. We're good.
Yeah, it's going to be at 10 a.m. my time. That's 12 a.m. That's 12 p.m. your time. So we're going to probably start. I believe the deadline is still at the same time this year. I believe it's 4 o'clock Eastern, which I believe we're going to then start the show at 10 o'clock a.m. Arizona time, which would then be 1 o'clock p.m. Eastern. And we're going to do it until the deadline and then the hour after the deadline. And honestly, we are just going to have a blast. We're going to have so much fun. I look forward to doing that. And then I'm going to go to the Dodgers game that night too and watch the Diamondbacks just get murdered by the Dodgers and talk about all the trades that happened during the day while watching it. So that'll be fun. So look out for that. Next week, we're going to be doing a ton of coverage, and watch out because we'll talk about it later, but we may or may not be doing breaking news shows, or we'll just cover all the trades that happen during the week during the trade deadline show. I think that's probably a better idea, but we'll talk about it at another time.
Michael, I think we're going to just do it.
I think we'll do that. Yeah. So no breaking news shows next week. We're just going to do it all in one big show. So thank you guys for watching. Look forward to seeing you guys again next week. By this time next week, there might be some big names that are no longer on the teams that they are on right now. So look out for that. Thank you all for watching. We will see you all next time. Have a great